Well done. Can't say I have. That's sure it was. Anyhow, welcome to the chaos. Oh my god, the chat's already chaotic. There's only 7 of you guys watching this afternoon, and I kind of expected this. So I didn't expect a whole lot of people. Obviously, it's a holiday season, and we only got Fedex to react to, but goddamn. Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the chaos. My name is Brad. Stock market is crazy and chaotic, and whew, we're starting off hot, starting off spicy. Anyways, I actually put in the in a poll as people rolling in. I'd be curious to see how this rolls because I feel like I've reached a point in my life where like just material stuff, I don't want things anymore. Like if I want something, I'm just gonna go get it. I don't need somebody. I don't need to wait for somebody to get it for me. You know what I mean? Like I'll just say, and most of the stuff that I want anyway is too expensive to ask somebody else to get. You know, so it's just like I don't know. I would rather just go get whatever I want myself. And if you want to get me some sort of like experience or you just want to spend time with me, like that's way more valuable to me than like stuff. So be curious to see how people react to this or how people feel about it, and leave it in the chat too. Like, was there is it an age thing? Is it like I don't know. Maybe it is an age thing. You know, as I get older, I kind of just care a lot less about getting stuff from somebody. But I know that there's love languages out there, and sometimes people just love receiving gifts. Some people just love giving gifts. You know, so I'd just be curious to see how people, what side of the fence they are on this, and like, give me some reasons as to why. Like, why do you just love getting stuff, or, do you prefer the experiences type of thing? I'd be curious. Um, but checking in, uh, Lord Fenrir just join in. uh, uh, all right. This conversation, holy shit, on the chat. I'm cracking up. You guys are killing me. All right. Michael says I work for Old Dominion. Check that out. Yeah, we can check Old Dominion. Is it still expensive? I haven't looked at it in a while. ODFL is the ticker symbol there. Oop. ODFL. I mean, that's probably one of the best stocks out there in this sector. Just company wise, it is expensive. It's still sitting at 35 times next year's earnings. We can take a look at that in a little bit, though. Just kind of break that down some. But anyways, yeah, we do have FedEx. I'm just looking at the overall market. It's been pretty solid. Another solid day. We're creeping up to those all-time highs yet again. And let's pull that up. Let's pull up the chart here. Actually have the daily pulled up on the S&P 500, and we're at an interesting spot. You know, they're just kind of listening a little bit more to what Don had to say last week, and kind of projecting. I don't want to say he's like predicting that this is actually going to happen, but when you look at the highs that we saw back in January of 22, which is around that 4,800 mark, 48, I believe, 14-ish and some change, 48.17, what have you. That's where we saw all-time highs on the S&P 500. We're creeping back up there. It's kind of been almost a straight line, really, since November, from 41.19, and it is creeping up to that 4,800 mark, right at the top of this zone. We talked about it a little bit last week. We get to, the bottom of the zone. We get to the top of the zone right around that all-time high around 48.14, 48.20, whatever. That's going to be an interesting spot. Does it continue to break and go up over that? Don seems to think, and he has a theory. Again, it's not the gospel here, but he has this theory that, we could see the market's possibly correct. If they were going to correct, they would correct in Q1, and this is kind of like that possible trajectory. So let's zoom in on that a little bit, on where this could go. It's kind of hard to see. I'm gonna try. Don, can I change the color here? I'm gonna change the color to yellow just so people can see it a little bit better, because it's a little bit. Let's brighten it up some. There we go. So this is that potential track that we could see if there is a correction in Q1 next year. I'm a bit hesitant to say that it gets all the way back down to 4,000. Like the S&P is going to drop 800 points by February 24th. It could happen. Not saying that it won't, but I don't. I definitely won't rule out a correction. I think if I was going to see if we are to see a correction, my theory would be probably about half of that. Maybe coming back down to like 4,400, dropping 400 points seems reasonable to me. If it doesn't break up over this 4,800 mark, and we do have a potential Santa Claus rally coming around next week. It's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out, and it could start with FedEx today. So let's actually. I hate this view. I don't know why it always does defaults to that. So there you can see that a little bit more clear. But man, it's very interesting. Very interesting to see. Let's check out FedEx. And I also got to log out of my Discord. Sorry, guys, for that. Don't need that in your ear all afternoon. But here's FedEx. Very similar move. And it's trying to figure out this zone here at around in the 280s. 283 is going to be that spot. It kind of got rejected around there. Again, this is the daily chart. You can kind of see that since the end of October, it's been on an absolute tear. Today, we will see how things are shaking out as far as costs are concerned for FedEx. Estimated earnings per share for them today after hours is $4.20, $22.43 billion in revenue. Lots of upward revisions and not too many downward here from the street. So 15 times next year's earnings, I think it's adequately priced. It's below what the S&P 500 is right now, and it has been on a decent tear this year so far. It's up 60% over the last 52 weeks, up 67. So it's been on a tear. I don't think that it's overbought yet, believe it or not. I think that there is some more room for this to roll. Obviously, a lot of that will be heavily influenced on whether or not earnings are positively received today. And we'll see what they have to say. There's been some mixed sentiment across a lot of the earnings that we've seen so far, particularly in the last 3 weeks. When we look at Adobe, for example, and a couple of other ones that we reacted to last week, Costco even, they projected higher profits, but either came in line or maybe even came below expectations for revenue growth, which I found interesting. So we'll see what FedEx has to say about that as well today. But would love again to get your guys' take on this and how we react to these earnings. So Michael says, got some cash on the sidelines for that correction. Just talking about that correction from earlier. Yeah, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with always having something on the side, for sure. But yeah, that correction happens. I think that you'd be wise to have something to add to it. Lord Fender says, I've had people tell me I'm rich. I'm sure so I don't see it. Just because I don't cry when my kid wants big nuggets doesn't make me rich. No, sir, it does not. Okay, moving on. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on the actual Santa Claus rally. If you guys haven't experienced it, you never seen it before, or want to know what it is, it really is about as, at least in my opinion, about as real as Santa Claus himself. Now, this isn't to say that it doesn't happen. Sometimes it does. But it does feel as if there's not a whole lot of rhyme or reason to it. Right? I mean, let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Santa Claus rally. I think that we've kind of already seen a lot of that anyway. I mean, do we see another 2-3% push in the S&P 500? Again, here's the daily chart on the S&P, and I would be surprised if this continues to go up next week. If you guys aren't familiar with the Santa Claus rally, technically it happens after Christmas. So that week between Christmas and New Year is when traditionally you'll see the stock market really kind of crank up. You'll see a pretty decent rally going into the new year. Oftentimes you'll see that kind of correct first week of January. It's never a guarantee. And I would say that more times than not, we see that rally take place. I think it's like 60% of the time. It's really not that great of a, it's not like it's a guarantee by any stretch of the imagination. So it is kind of interesting how people always really harp on this, but I always talk about it because people want to know about it. I I think, in my opinion, it would be surprising to see some sort of Santa Claus rally um, this week. So, anyways, yeah. Lord Fender says my kid is listening. Well, hey, you know what? Don't put it in the chat if you don't want me to read it out loud. That's on you, bro. Oh, you mean Santa Claus? I thought you were talking about the comment you made. Now I get what you're saying. Whoops. Hey, listen. Nobody ever said this was a family friendly show. Santa always brings Santa always brings the best year to date results. Yes, he does. 100%. You should invest in Santa Claus. We got about 3 minutes before earnings for FedEx. Well, before the market closes, and then we'll react to earnings on FedEx at some point. I wanted to check in on my poll here, but let's see. Not that poll, fellas. So far, there is. So most people looks like they prefer to just get nothing. So I asked, what do you prefer to get? What do you prefer to receive on Christmas / Hanukkah? And 67% of you say nothing. I'm actually surprised there's 0% say no to experiences. Interesting. Santa bought Peloton. Everyone's getting cold. Sorry. That's hilarious. What's your thoughts on FedEx? Good or bad? Asks Duke. I think that FedEx. Let's go back to that FedEx chart. I think that they're actually going to do well. Um, oops. Why do I always do that? Now I don't know how to get back to that. Damn it. Hold on a second, guys. Actually, this is fine. This is fine for now. But you would take a look at FedEx. I think that there is a lot. There is a lot to like here. I think that reaction to earnings could be positive. And actually, where is I like lost all of my stuff? I'm screwing up Don's charts. That's what I'm good at. Hold on a second, people. Give me one moment. I'll pull this right back up. Anyways, I was saying that I feel good about FedEx moving forward, despite the fact that it's gone up a ton. It's moved up a ton, but I don't think it's overbought by any stretch of the imagination. I just got done telling you is that 15 times next year's earnings. It's had a pretty crazy correction, and it's finally started to move up in the right direction. I think it's been pretty dormant for a while, especially going back a year ago. Just how much it's come up, but I don't think it's done. Let's see here. Boom, boom. Come on. You know, you got to love technology when it doesn't work. Okay. Here's FedEx's chart over the last year and a half. You can kind of see where it bottomed out back in September, where a lot of stocks did, and it's moved up pretty considerably. I think, as mentioned earlier, earnings per share is expected to be for Q2 420, applying upside of 32% year over year, while revenue is expected to fall 1.7%. We see an increase in revenue. That's going to be interesting. I think we'll see how this moves off of those earnings. I actually like this. I think there's reason to believe that we'll see the stock move up as a result. If you guys caught the email that I put out, I talked about this quite a bit in that email on FedEx specifically. I think there is possibility for earnings surprise. We've seen 18% growth in just 1.5 months. I think that's projected. I think that we should see that continue. They have a remarkable history of exceeding earnings expectations. In the last 4 quarters, the company consistently surpassed the Zacks consensus estimate with an average beat of 16.94%. And I think that that bodes well for this time around. And forecast for adjusted earnings per share 419, marking a significant 32% increase compared to the same quarter last year, which if that does happen or it comes above that, I think that, again, lots to like here on Fedex. So the market's officially closed. Let's zoom in on this real quick. Pull up the 5-minute chart so we can react to that in real time. There we go. And so it actually came all the way up to the bottom of the zone here at 283 and kind of struggled to get back up over that. It's like those boxes, magic yellow boxes actually do work. Can you believe that? Wow. How about that? So no real movement on it just yet as we got into the close. It's almost like he mirrors the 52 week every year, Lord Fenrir. What's up, Snookeroo? Good to see you, man. Just going to be a chill stream today. We got one stock we're reacting to. By the way, you've been seeing me talk about these zones. If you guys haven't checked it out over at TradeStream, would love to have you guys. If you haven't done so already, check out the link in the description. Don has put out a coaching program that we're really starting to kick off. And so if you guys are interested in that, you want to learn more about these zones that Don has drawn out for you, the ones that I cover with all the earnings that I put out. Click that link in the description. It's free to sign up. Would love to have you guys, your guys' support in that way. It really is an amazing program that Don's put together with our crew of folks. So it has been a long time in the making, but we're super pumped to kind of get it started and get it going. So go check it out. Again, links in the description. All you gotta do is click on there, enter your email. That's it, donezo, and you'll be well on your way. Was good, Jay says I'm scared. Must have a lot on the line for FedEx. We'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on as soon as those numbers come through. I'll be happy to report those. I'm gonna move this over slightly. So I feel like this takes up a lot of space. It doesn't need to. There we go. Hit the like button and subscribe. Yeah, appreciate you, Savvy Money Show. Good to see you, my man. So far, 38 of you guys in here. All right. I'm surprised. I was just surprised that there's actually people watching. You guys never cease to amaze me. Not a whole lot going on, and it is it's a bit slow. So you guys are great. Appreciate you just hanging out. Hit the top right icon under publish. Says Don. Top right under this one. Oh yeah. Well, see here's the thing, Don. I like this view, but I also like to see like how much the stock is moving up. I think we got to do so. There's so much about trading view that I don't know, that I should know. But there's a lot. There's a lot to cover here. But I want to be able to see, like, I appreciate this view because it's less busy, but I want to be able to see the actual price of the stock as well, and like the percentage and all that. So I like this down here. Like when it's showtime, if all I could do, if I can do is just like have the price up there and the chart itself, that would be golden. That's fine. We'll get there though. I'll figure it out. Doesn't have to be done today. FedEx is starting to move up a little bit. It's up around 0.75%, but it doesn't look like any sort of significant volume that would indicate earnings are out just yet. Damn, what's good? Jay has 3,500 bucks on the line. 282.50 calls. Don, give us some thoughts on that. What's the expiration on that, Jay? Is that today? Or no? Friday? Snooker says only 38 in here. I don't. I mean, like I said, there's 45. Got some people coming in. Got some people coming in. Oh, here we go. Looks like those numbers are out now. FedEx is tanked. Look at this. Come down to the bottom of that zone. Jay not having a good day. It is still tanking, getting ready to crash right through this zone here too. We'll see if that does that. It's down now 5%. It's still getting hammered. Was not on the money with this one. Meaning myself. I was not on the money on this one. Let's see here. See what those numbers are. Higher. Let's see. FedEx team at $22.2 billion. They missed the estimate at 22.41. Operating income 1.42 billion versus 1.49, also a miss. They see fiscal year adjusted earnings per share $17.1850. The estimate was 18.22, so coming in line on that. They reported 399. Wow, they missed on everything. They reported 399 per share. The expectation was 420. Damn. Not a good quarter for FedEx. Did come down to the bottom of this zone at 262, though. Might have been worth grabbing some of that up. I don't think this is going to sustain. I think the sell off kind of continues here. Would be surprised if that actually had a decent bounce. Don says that thin dash line in the zone, that's where I just bought. Okay, cool. So let's zoom in on this. So Don just bought here at what, like 265, 264.50, 264.43. Don isn't quite profitable on this one yet. Where's your stop at, Don, by chance? 264.50 is what we'll call it, just to make it easy. Right around where Don bought it at. And it's struggling to hold above that. But I would imagine that Don saw this and bought it because of the bounce here at the bottom of the zone around 262. Trying to catch the overreaction there. Snooker says, I'm surprised considering how low fuel costs. Yeah, everything else still costs a lot, though. Tim G got in at 265. Yeah, it looks like it's actually about ready to bust through this zone. Lord Fender says fuel costs are down, but still high. Amazon delivery is giving them a hit. That's what I think the big issue could be. Amazon delivery really kind of taking it to these guys. I got family that's that work for the post office too. And honestly, Amazon is kind of keeping the post office in business right now. That's the crazy part. Because Amazon doesn't have enough delivery drivers to deliver all their stuff yet. They will. So they subcontract out to like the US Postal Service, USPS. And to be honest with you, I mean, the USPS is losing money every year, billions of dollars. And companies like Amazon's actually keeping them afloat for right now. It's kind of crazy to think the USPS might not be around. Michael says, Michael's asking about Old Dominion earlier. That shipping has been slow down here. Has been slow. We're down 1% from last year in November as far as tonnage goes. That's from somebody working with Old Dominion Freightliner. But this is interesting. Interesting reaction to earnings. I mean, not that it's unexpected given the numbers that came out. I'm just surprised at those numbers. FedEx missed on everything. Literally everything. If you guys missed those numbers, they came in at $3.99. The expectation was 420. Revenue of $22.2 billion was the actual. They missed that expectation by 230 million. So the street was already expecting a slow of growth in revenue, and they came in even slower. Second quarter income and margin improved despite lower revenue, with consolidating operating income up 9%, adjusted operating income up 17%, primarily due to the execution of the company's drive program and continued focus on service and revenue quality. FedEx ground operating income increased primarily due to yield improvement, cost reductions, and higher volumes. Cost per package declined 2%, which is good, driven by lower line haul and expense and improved first and last mile productivity. FedEx freight operating income increased despite a decline in revenue. The profit increase was driven by higher yield and increased efficiency, partially offset by lower shipments. Here's your outlook for 2024: a low single-digit percentage decline in revenue year over year compared to the prior forecast of approximately flat line. So they came in so they're lowering their guidance for 2024. Earnings per diluted share, this is the expected for 2024, 15.35 to 16.85. Compared to the prior forecast of 15.10 to 16.60. So that's an increase. Again, we're seeing this theme: an increase in profit, but a decrease in revenue growth. Very interesting. So they're figuring out ways to cut costs and increase their bottom lines, even though they're seeing this slow in revenue. So very interesting. Earnings per diluted share of $17 to 18.50 versus consensus of 18.19. So that's on the higher side of that. Permanent cost reductions from the drive transformation program of 1.8 billion. That's why we're seeing that forecasted increase. Capital spending of 5.7 billion with a priority on investments to improve efficiency, including fleet and facility modernization, network optimization, and automation. So that is your report from FedEx. Right now, the stock is still struggling here and actually broke down through this next zone at 262. So what does this mean to you? Can we get into, is it worth taking a look at FedEx to maybe get in on this overreaction? Right now, it's down around 7%. I think it's a bit risky right now. There isn't a whole lot in that report just from those preliminary numbers where I'd be like, yeah, let's go long on this. I'm obviously, I'm kind of going against a little bit what Don was talking about, but Don's going to just try to take advantage of this quick reaction, right? It's just he's not going to be in the stock long. I'd imagine he's probably close to being out if he's not out already, given the way that this has moved. So I would say if you're looking at FedEx as a potential investment, you want to add to it or something like that, I would not be, rushing to get into this. See where it takes you. I think there's a high possibility that based off of what we heard from FedEx, and of course we'll see what they say from their conference call. It's still early. We're only 10 minutes into these earnings, but 247 is where the top of this next zone is. And it's kind of no man's land right now where it's sitting at 250.59. It's kind of chilling out here, not really in any sort of spot that I would feel comfortable for a rebound. So I would say 247 could be that next spot where it continues to bleed down into. Now, obviously, we'll see what tomorrow brings, but not a great reaction to earnings. And honestly, the earnings weren't great at all. So let's see here. Gerardo Villegas says, Villegas? Is it Villegas? Is it G silent? Culture me. USPS is not delivering parcels like other years. I don't know about FedEx. Seems to be the case. Snickeroo says he agrees. It's 100% risky, uncertain demand environment. Not good. FedEx saying, yeah. Lots of reactions from you guys. I'm loving this. These companies are too short term looking. Royal Mail was the same, taking contracts from Amazon while they built their infrastructure and took their contracts just to get money up that quarter. So it seems as if the Royal Postal Service is the same way from across the pond. Krill says my calls are clapped. I think we have Jay in here. I haven't seen Jay react to this just yet, unless he's just drowning in his calls. haven't haven't seen him react to that yet. Snookeroo is out on Fedex. You too, Snookeroo. I mean, this is, like I said, I probably wouldn't touch this. Not loving the price action here. Not to say they can't have a hell of a bounce, because like I said, they come out with the conference call, and maybe they say some things that gets the stock moving back up, gets people a little less scared. But I don't know. Not confident in that. So if I was looking to trade FedEx, I would say that I would just stay away if it were me. Not great. Not great there. I want to check back into today's poll. 21 of you voted so far. I love that you guys love the polls that I put up. What do you prefer to receive on Christmas/Hanukkah? And I said tangible gifts, experiences, and nothing. Still a majority of you guys say nothing, which I can appreciate. But second place is tangible gifts. And we actually got some voters in the experiences. See, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in the experiences category. Like, I want my loved ones to, just make memories with me. That's more valuable to me than like an item of something, Not to say it's wrong. That's just me. That's just my preference. That's just how I feel. Scared money don't make money, says Don from the Don Franz show. Yeah, we covered that, Heinz. Appreciate you sharing that. John H said he was looking at shorting today, but bailed. Looks like you might have made out if you had done that, John. If you guys are just tuning in, FedEx ended up missing earnings by a lot. Also missed on guidance. Came in line for yearly guidance though, on the high side of that. The stock's down 6.6% right now. If you guys are looking at this chart right now, this is something that Don has mapped out for us. So go also check out Don from the Don Franz show. His channel's over there. You can click on his link there. Speaking of links, if you guys want access on how to create these and how to trade with these zones, go to the power zones. The link's in the description below. We'd love to have you guys help us grow in that way as well. This is a coaching program that Don has just developed. And I'm telling you, these zones are ridiculously accurate. I mean, look at this. You can see it right here. These zones were previously drawn from Don. This is FedEx earlier today. These are these zones were here. And you can see how they came right up to this resistance and never really made it above that. It's mind-blowing to watch how accurate these zones are. So if this is something that you guys want to learn, how to trade these zones, go check out the Power Zone. Link is in the description. Again, it's just going to help us support the channel, support the things that we're doing. We're revving things back up. I know we've said that we've been doing that for a while, but it's actually happening, guys. Feels good to be back. Feels good to be back in the captain's chair and doing this thing. Savvy Money Show says Don Franz a wizard. Yeah, for sure. Don. Oh yeah, I that's right. Because I said something to you about it. So Don said I put that alert in on Sunday. They can watch that live. Yep. So those zones were created on Sunday, and FedEx followed them pretty much to a T. Snookeroo says, crazy to think that this was the most profitable quarter for FedEx Ground. Yeah, for sure. We're having a FedEx miss experience for Christmas. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Savvy Money Show says, I tell my family, just be around for Christmas, no gifts for my kids. When they insist, I say, put money in their account for when they leave school. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. So Fat Man Zoom used to do that. If you guys, for those of you guys who remember Fat Man Zoom, um, most of the people that are watching most likely were watching when he was still with us, but he did the same thing. Like he had a still has a daughter, and he was the same way. He's like, I'm not buying mini Zoom anything for Christmas. I'm gonna put some money into her 529 college savings account because all my family's just gonna buy her a bunch of shit that like she's gonna play with and not really enjoy 6 months from now. So why would I spend money on that when I know that they're going to spoil her like that anyway? So yeah, I feel that, Savvy Money Show. Feel that. Don says those indicators aren't anything I use. People just ask me about them, so add some. Oh yeah, the let me put that back. So I took away the RSI. RSI is usually up here, but I did take that away. Yeah, Don doesn't use indicators. But I actually like I feel that like there's with kids it's just like they get so much stuff from everybody else in the family. You know, there's definitely truth to that. Oh, I got you, Don. Gotcha. All right, guys. Well, that's your reaction. Just to recap here, FedEx did end up missing earnings. They came in at $3.99 per share, missing earnings expectations by a lot. They missed by 21 cents. The expectation there was $4.20. They also came in at 22.2 billion, missing that expectation by $230 million. So not a great quarter. Guidance was also down, and so the conclusion is that for me personally, I would stay away from FedEx until it gets its life back together. I think that there's um, likelihood that this goes all the way back down to maybe around 247 before it starts to get before I would consider actually taking any sort of long play on this personally. So just keep an eye on that spot. This is the top of that zone here at 247. Um, that's going to be the next stop. So keep an eye on that area. That's where the trade is for me personally. And guys, that's going to do it for today. Tomorrow, there's also earnings that we'll be reacting to just for one. I think it's Micron's tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Ticker symbol MU. So we'll be reacting to Micron. Let me just confirm that for you guys. I don't want to misspeak on that, but I'm pretty sure it's Micron. There's Micron this week, and then also Nike. Yeah, Micron's tomorrow. BlackBerry. BlackBerry reports tomorrow. Carnival Thursday morning, CarMax Thursday morning, Paychecks as well. Pre-market Thursday, and then Nike is going to be the big one Thursday afternoon. So going to be reacting to Micron, going to be reacting to Nike, and that's going to do it for today's show, guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hitting that like button as well. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you're doing that on your way out the door. And sometimes these nice little light earnings reactions and just a chill stream is just what the doctor ordered. I appreciate you guys just checking in, and I love you guys. See you all tomorrow. Peace.